Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of the Ubuntu Touch Q&A, the UBports Foundation show discussing the development of Ubuntu Touch and our community's questions. This is episode 178, streamed live on November the 15th, 2025. My name is Alfred, and joining me tonight is our special guest.
Yeah, my name is Mike Gabriel. Hi.
Hello, Mike. For those who don't know, Mike, or for those who haven't read or are listening in on the audio, Mike is spearheading the bring over of Lumiri to Debian and doing various other things like reviewing our code occasionally or very often. So this is something that has been long in the making, actually, because I've been looking forward to seeing this guy on the stream for a long time. And finally, we made it.
Yay.
So, let's start with a little bit of news roundup. We have a call for testing for 2404 1.1 and for 2004 OTA 11 going. Please test those in the release candidate channels and report back on the forums, because we want to release this and make sure that we release stable software to users. So please get in touch with us, test the software, and let us know how it works.
I think this was especially for Vola 22 users for whom we actually held or blocked the release because there were issues with pulse audio and phone interruptions or phone call interruptions, basically because the pulse audio was just simply dying.
Right.
And that should be resolved. So if you have a Vola 22, try it out. Should be in the dailies for 2024 for 1.1.
Next up, we also have an event in Portugal with Diogo, how to make apps for Ubuntu Touch, and also joining is Ruben, how to do porting. It's a basic introduction. Let me post a few links here in chat. Copy this and copy that. And if you're in Portugal, and I don't know where specifically in Portugal, would have had to check real quick. Doesn't say here on the Porto. Could be. If you're there, feel free to join and take a look at what we have in store for a basic introduction into how to make apps and how to do porting. Next up, we are going through a few changes in GitLab, which have happened over the last 2 weeks. Most of the changes are landing in 2404 2.x because we're stabilizing 1.1 and OTA 11 Focal. So bear that in mind. There is a change to fix sync evolution to crash with certain command line invocations. For our Qt 6 adventure, we're now selecting OpenGLES for Qt 6 to render properly and to start apps, actually. Due to a patch in Qt 6 base, which doesn't require us anymore to fork and ship a secondary Qt base package anymore, built against OpenGLES so that our smartphones can render properly. Lumiri Thumbnailer has optional support for building against Qt 6. And what else do we have?
We actually were missing one package that's required for, I think, address book syncing.
Okay.
If the storage backend for address books is still on EDS, I'm not quite sure actually it was address book or calendar, but it was. So there's a special property that is implemented by an extension for EDS, and we had the package and we had it all renamed from. So it's called Evolution Data Server dash Ubuntu. It was called, and it's now called dash Lumiri. So, but we forgot to add, so it wasn't in the root FS. So this should be there, but that's 20 2442.x, I guess. But I,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we'll backport that.
yeah. All right. So then there's also improvements on handling bogus image updates in System Image Updater in the system settings. Fixing indicators in a greeter with encryption enabled so that uh, indicators show the respective greeter modes or greeter profile, actually, as it's called in the code, uh, view of what to render in the indicators so that you get to see proper Bluetooth indicator again with encryption enabled on the greeter. And what else do we have? Yeah, we've also brought over some for Lumira UI extras and Lumira Content Hub, adjusting a few Qt 6 QML components for Lumira UI Toolkit. And actually, Lumira UI Toolkit
This is
has
the big
landed.
one.
That's the big one. Yeah, it's been a long time in the making. Uh, has been merged into main so that we can have a Lumira UI toolkit based on Qt 6.
Yeah. So actually, so maybe let me enlarge a little bit on that. Bhushan
Yeah.
and Guido have been working. Guido is in my company. Bhushan is another company we also hired, and they have been working. So Bhushan joined a little bit later, but Guido started this like, I don't know, five months ago or so. Um, it's November, yeah. So it was a bit warm and still springtime, like when he started that. So he worked on this, um, not as his only project, but yeah. And then we actually needed someone who is more experienced with Qt shaders. So we had Bhushan come in, and he's also a KDE developer, so he knows Qt also pretty well. And both of them, they really, yeah, put their heads together and stuck their heads together and came up with a working morph browser based on Qt6, and Lumira UI toolkit was the really heavy weightlifting to achieve that. So it's I think actually the Qt6 MR is that also merged for morph. Have
In
you?
Morph? I don't think so. No, that
No,
doesn't
it
look like.
was. Yeah, but so it's around the corner. Let me say that.
Right. So next up, also to go hand in hand with that, Rachanan has ported Qt Ubuntu to CMake and Qt 6, which allows applications to render using the Mir client protocol, which we still use or are going to use for the Qt 6 adventure. We're not going to go Wayland only, simply because we would lose a lot of functionality like integrating trust prompts and stuff like that. So we want to keep that. And yeah.
Yes. So Alfred, let me also dive into this here. So we don't want to keep this forever, but we can't do all at once. So we
Right.
chose and discussed in the team. So what's actually the most pressing migration we should face, and with what migration can we be a little bit more tolerant, and can what older components can we keep, and we decided, because all the other distros around us are starting to drop Qt5 support from the distros, that it would actually make sense to really move forward to Qt6. This is one reason. The other reason is app developers are really waiting for us to provide our API as a Qt6 based API, not Qt5 anymore, because
Yeah.
they can do more magic in apps based on Qt6. So this is coming. It's not an easy way to go, but we are doing it, and we will do it fast over the next few months.
Right.
And
Next
then at
up.
the and sorry and then after that we take a look at Mir 1 to Mir 2
Right.
migration.
All right. So next up, we've updated Snapd with our custom libhybris patches to 2.72, which is the latest upstream release. And we've also fixed a little bit of changing in the QML module integrating into Snapd so that we can have applications talk to it, QML applications talk to Snap and install snaps interactively. For that, we also ship the PaulKit agent now. We finally have it. We finally have a way to install snaps and run other administrative tasks by entering your password in the little dialog that pops up at the top of Lumiri. And yeah, much better user experience overall, and enables a lot of functionality now, including PKexec for those who know about that.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, you integrated the PolicyKit agent with the Lumiri system setting security privacy plugin.
Right.
So that there's just only one PolicyKit agent implementation we are using now.
No, we are using Polkit agent for we have in system settings we have our little helper,
Yeah.
which still is there, but it just doesn't interfere with the system setting with the system wide or session wide Polkit agent anymore. So it does what it's supposed to do, but nothing more.
Hmm.
But the Polkit agent also is getting shipped now. So that means we keep the user experience of changing the pins and passwords while still providing Polkit agent for everything else.
And that's 2404.2.x in the
Exactly.
daily. Yeah. So not 1.x, that 2.x. Hmm.
For the Fairphone 5, we have a fix for the camera now, which ensures that the camera doesn't randomly stop working anymore. This was simply a ref counting issue, and adapting it to the upstream kernel to the kernel's capabilities, something that has landed in the upstream kernel that was not being used by the downstream kernel module, uh, is getting fixed now, and it releases the camera now properly when it's supposed to. Then we're close to the end of everything here. Yeah, we also for encryption we also support F2FS file systems now, because the encryption system settings plugin doesn't run Tune2FS on anything other than X4 anymore. So it runs enables the encryption flag only on X4 where it's needed, and on F2FS it's not needed, so that everything works properly. So that it doesn't abruptly stop during the encryption process. I think that's a good rough roundup of what we have been landing in Maine and other branches, which brings us over to the experiments. And I believe Mike has a few things to say here.
Yeah. So two things I would like to mention. So one thing Maciek is doing, he's uh, well, say years ago, he actually came up with an approach for notch and rounded corners avoidance. So that on these phones with where the camera is actually part of the display, and we have rounded corners, so that especially the indicators in the top bar of the operating system, that they sort of smoothly find their way of finding a good position. And I think we have three implementations out there, and three, yeah, POCs basically, but it's probably Maciek's version that's going to land. And so he is actually now quite advanced and also abstracted how it's rendered quite a bit. And at the moment he's thinking about, he just let me know today how to actually, or let us know, I think it was on public channel, how to um, so some indicators have more than one icon or have icon and text, and how to actually, well, yeah, place the indicators at the right spot and how to split them. So if there are two icons in one indicator rendered by one indicator, um, does it? Yeah. So he's looking into that, and I guess we will see some more screenshot in the community communication channel. So stay tuned for that, and that's going to be pretty much interesting. And then we have another small patch coming in, but that actually triggered quite a discussion. So someone on the Ayatana indicators upstream side sent us a pull request for Ayatana indicator power to add a new toggle switch to keep, well, to, but it's basically a don't lock the screen or don't dim the screen. So if you're watching the video or so, you can enforce that the screen stays on. So it's, he said his wording is keep screen on. It's not the best, I think, but so, and this actually triggered a discussion where to put this toggle switch, and We in fact have a display indicator, but for Ubuntu Touch or for Lumiri, it's just used to inhibit the screen rotation. So the same indicator on a Mate desktop or XFCE desktop can actually do a little bit more. It can has a brightness control, it has redshifting control, it has auto brightness and auto redshifting, and also profile switching from light to dark mode. So, and that based on your geolocation and the time of the system, the system time. So it can actually sort of, it dims the screen, redshifts. At some point, it switches to black or to dark mode, and in the morning when when you work really early in the morning, it switches back. So yeah, the the display indicator has quite a few features. Um, so for me, it looks like Alfred actually dropped out of the chat, and I hope he comes back. So um, I'll try to continue without you, Alfred. So hope you're coming back soon. Um, so we then have a few applications that have been uploaded to OpenStore as new applications. Thanks to Paul Hart actually for providing an overview and doing it for every Q&A session. So it's really good. So the new apps here in the list are Blue Dog. It's basically a Blue Sky client. So yeah, like for microblogging network. It's the SOTI speech to text server. So it's an app that facilitates speech recognition on Ubuntu Touch. The InTouch app, it's a native app to browse the UBports forum. So this is really nice as well. And let me check here. Yeah, okay. So that's what we have on the list for today. And then we have 68 updated apps. And so the list, so the generation process of the list doesn't really provide the information on was it a focal upload or was it a noble upload, because we can have both at the moment in OpenStore for the old version of Ubuntu Touch and the just released new version. Yeah, so the apps that we have that have been updated are quite a few. Actually, it's 68 in the list. And my assumption here is because we just released the 24.4 1.x version of Ubuntu Touch, that a lot of these apps are maybe just updated translations plus a rebuild and fixes for running the app and building the app against Ubuntu Touch Noble. So I would like to sort of out of these 68, I just have a few to highlight. So one thing is that I just learned from an Ubuntu Touch user who's not a technical user. It's really interesting. It's the Maps exporter, and if you haven't tried that, it goes together with a navigation app such as UNAV, and it is basically a search. It's a search app, so you can run Google queries. And search for certain locations on the planet. And there he's back again. So I
Yeah.
tried. So I'm now with the apps, with the updated apps, Alfred.
Okay, cool.
I try to, yeah, continue the show. Okay, so the maps exporter is actually you can run a search for a certain location in town, on the planet, wherever, and then then it gives you the coordinates of this location, like a restaurant or a sightseeing site or whatever, and then you can export the coordinates to UNAV, and then UNAV will immediately show the location. So this is a really nice feature, and even stuff that is not registered in OpenStreetMap and so cannot be really searched for by UNAV. With this additional app, you can actually find those. So that's really good. And it's easy to use. So if you haven't tried it out, try it out. And so in the process, I will later speak about of getting more Lumiri things to Debian, targeting the Debian 14 release in approximately 2 years from now. So we thought we actually need an IRC client. So I mean, IRC is for it's for people who do a lot of development, and Debian still it uses IRC as one of of its main communication platforms, really. So we have Chatter in Ubuntu Touch, and this is also an app we would like to actually package as a native Lumiri app in Debian. So stay tuned for that. Um, and then also I would like to mention, I'm not gaming really, but there's this one game I really like. It's called 8192 or 8192, and it's can be a relaxing thing if you like numbers. So try it out or run away. I don't know. And then over the past few weeks, the maintainer of KeyParsRx actually provided quite some work and put quite some effort into having a password manager that can understand the KDBX file format and provide that as a touch-based app in Ubuntu Touch. So this is also something that we will certainly bring to Debian as a native app. So so far about that. Alfred, I hand over moderation back to you then.
Yeah. Have you started with the new apps also?
I've done the new apps as discussed. Yes.
Okay, cool. I mean, we have a lot of updated apps now, and Mike has selected a handful of those that are interesting to him. I'm just going to mention a few that I noticed. First of all, Wordle and Catala, which I presume is Wordle in Catalonian, uh, has been updated. MeTubo and Text T-Edit have also been updated. Screen Clock. I'm gonna just go through the long, large list of applications now. Signal UT has been updated, which is a Signal desktop port to Ubuntu Touch,
Which
which allows
means
you.
you cannot use it as your primary Signal app. So you have
That
to
is true.
have Android or iOS Signal on Android or iOS, and then you can attach this as a secondary Signal client.
Yeah, but you could do that with Waydroid, as I presume.
Yes, I'm doing that actually. It works in Waydroid. The thing is, if you have Waydroid and a Linux system on the same host, um, so to actually take a photograph of the QR code, you need the camera.
Yeah,
So it's difficult.
yeah. Okay. Wow, there are a lot of applications. I'm not gonna go through all of them because that would be insane.
Yeah,
What's also interesting? Yeah, What's Web and Sudoku have been updated. Minds, Kivix,
quite a
and
few
Pigspocket.
games actually.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's good. And Unit Converter. It's good to see a few games getting back on track here, so
Hmm.
that when you're bored, you have something to waste your time on.
Also, in this list, I also found the flashcards app, which is so. What I will talk later about is educational purposes or educational goals with Lumiri. So, in the flashcard app will probably also be an app that we'd like to have as a native Debian package in Debian for Lumiri.
Okay, I would say we're gone through the new and updated apps. Let's head over to Mike and his Lumiri adventures. I would say.
Yeah. So. Um, I've been doing quite a few actually interviews with potential Lumir developers over the past week, and I've told this story now I think several times. So I joined the project because I have never been here. Just a little bit of history. I joined the project in 2020 at FOSDEM there, and so it was the last FOSDEM before COVID really became a thing, and there was no meeting in person anymore. So it was the right moment to actually get involved on a personal level, and then from then on we were actually cooperating, and I was in the project, chimed into the project more and more since then. So and at that time we were actually having discussing two missions. One was bringing Lumiri to Debian at some point. That was then before the Debian 12 version was released, and to achieve that, to actually really fork Lumiri. So namespace cleanup work, renaming components from Ubuntu dash something or libraries from lib Ubuntu dash something to lib Lumiri or to Lumiri dash something. So So and this was also in taking place in parallel with the focal release of Ubuntu Touch, and and then in parallel with the latest work on 24.4 of Ubuntu Touch, we did the provisioning of all. Well, we missed two packages, but nearly all Lumiri components to Debian. So Debian 13 has a Lumiri. It is using not all the backend things that Ubuntu Touch uses. So we are actually in two respects we're a bit further ahead. So we have the syncing framework is already using Buteo in Debian, so for calendars and contacts, and also for file storage. And no, actually, that's not using Buteo, but it's different. But for contacts and calendars, we have Buteo Sync Framework. That is the same software that is used in Sailfish OS, and we have everything based on Mir2. And due to that, we on the one hand we have better Wayland support. On the other hand, we have a lot of more graphical glitches than Ubuntu Touch with Mir1 has, because this is more consolidated, more rock stable. Um, so we are basically test staging that in Debian and try to get everything now in the next release cycle of Debian, get this more stable, get this iron out all the issues we see. There are quite a few, and I get to that later. Um, yeah, so we have achieved the Lumiri upload for Debian 13, and now we are actually running a new project where quite a few developers will be hired by my company to join the Lumiri upstream development, and also the Debian packaging upstream development first, to assist with the current challenges that we see in Lumiri and Ubuntu Touch. So that is the Qt6 migration of, well, basically all the components that we are using. That is at the end also the Mir1 to Mir2 migration. We want to bring more native Lumiri apps to Debian. We have greatly also, this was also part of this project already, the Qt6 migration of Lumiri UI toolkit, and getting Morph browser bumped to Qt6.8, but we want to bump it to Qt6.9. So to that version of Qt6 that will land in Ubuntu 26.04. So probably 6.9. So in this will give us a Chromium engine of version 130, as if I remember correctly. So, and in Qt5 web engine we have version 87, I think. So this is quite a jump, and so so what I've seen in Morph, actually, it websites work again. So this is really an important change and important newity that we bring to Ubuntu Touch, but also to Debian. So I think, Alfred, the last missing piece is actually to get Qt5 and Qt6 installed into the root FS on all the different phone ports that we have. So,
Yeah, but
so but this is,
for that we need some more room in the rootfs, and Nikita has been working on a few things regarding that,
yeah,
but it's not finished, and it will take some time until we get there.
yeah. So in Ubuntu Touch we do releases now. Like we have done the big base OS move now to 24 for Ubuntu LTS, but we'll have major releases over the next 2 years, and the next major release, so the 24 for 2.x, will be so one story that we'll be telling for this release, or in this release, is a Morph browser based on Qt6. So this will come, and this is being worked on with priority. But in this goal for Debian 14, so the idea is to actually have a software stack in Debian, and we collaborate with Lumiri upstream, or we are also Lumiri upstream. So it's the group developers overlaps here. And then this also Ubuntu Touch also benefits from that. So it's all a big mix actually. So and we want to achieve that in Debian, but also in any other distribution, that you have a really well working operating environment software stack, Lumiri, um, to install on tablet hardware, on mainline Linux tablet hardware. That's the idea. So we're testing. So as reference devices, we have been looking at Lenovo Yoga devices. So these are not really good for being used in schools because they're quite expensive. We have we have looked at Microsoft Surface tablets. That actually works quite nicely, but the issue here is these devices are really hard to repair. So they are glued together like hell, and you can't open them, and you can't fix anything inside. You can't exchange the display, even if you really know how to change displays on other phones and tablets. So not so ideal for schools either. So we are actually also, so if any of you has a really nice tablet that doesn't get too warm, that's lightweight, that can run Linux, yeah, please let us know actually. So and this is not Android based tablets, it's mainly Linux tablets, so where you can just run the Linux kernel on without any intermediate layer. So, and the idea is to have this Lumiri as a proof of concept in Debian, but then also available for other distributions that can really replace iPad tablets in schools. So um, we'd love to get feedback from people actually who use tablets in schools. What would the software be that you would like to see on this? So maybe we have to add some app development here to our budget. Um, and the overall, the greater context actually, so not for this the upcoming project over the next 2 years, but is to also provide a Lumiri that can be used in enterprise Linux or in enterprises. So yeah, on the phone you have Ubuntu Touch. On your tablet you have either Ubuntu Touch or Debian with Lumiri, and you can actually brand this. You have your notebooks and desktops, workstations, and they have Lumiri as a desktop environment. So end users can smoothly switch between those environments, and they have always the same UI. It just runs on all the device form factors that you can have in a business. So and so one idea, so something I learned from YiFi actually recently is if you have a Lenovo device and you have a GSM modem inside, and this the default GSM modem in the X1 Yoga, for example, you can use for mobile broadband, but you can't do phone calls with that. But the slot, as he said, is the same slot and the same bus that is also used in the PinePhone. And if you do take the PinePhone modem and put that into the X1 Yoga, tada, you can do actually phone calls on that device. So that in enterprise you don't even need a phone anymore. You can just use your notebook for things like office work. So this is the greater context of this all. Present something that can replace iPads in schools, and with the wider perspective, have a unique operating environment for enterprises. And and now I come to the last point, which I also like to mention. So we at DebConf this year in Brest, we launched a bounty program. I would, for all the participants that are still waiting for review, I have to apologize that I have been pretty slow with that, but we'll sort of give this more drive now. And so there's a bounty program around Lumiri as it is presented in Debian. So it's mainly Lumiri on Mir 2. That's why you can't find this maybe on the GitLab repositories of the UbiPorts Foundation, but more on the packaging repositories in Debian. But because we face a lot of issues with Lumiri on desktop, Lumiri with Mir 2, that someone needs to sit down, and it's easy to the issues are easy to reproduce, and if you take your time, you probably also can find a fix. And and there is a bounty program. It's on os-sci.com/Lumiri, and we will add more issues, document more issues that we find, and add them to the list of bounty bugs. So if you're interested, or if you feel like that, and you love finding issues in code, yeah, join the bounty program and sign up for individual issues that you think you can fix or already have fixed.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, maybe we can put the link in the chat. I add it here to the
Oh
pad.
yeah, wait a second. And it's in chat.
Okay.
So this is where you can find the bounty program and the individual bounties attached to it. So yeah,
Good.
if you want to fix something, let us know and collect your bounty.
Yeah, the bounties are at the very bottom of the page, so you have to scroll down to
Right.
the very end.
All right. Now, I think it's about time for the sponsors, shall we?
Yeah,
Where do we have our sponsors? There are our sponsors. Uh, Thanks to our sponsors, Smooth, Voila, Pine 64, OneStein, DigitalOcean, Netlify, Community Association, Private Internet Access, Gardner and Associates Consulting Inc., Tixia, GitLab, Cloudrun, CodeLutin, Gandhi.net, and Brax Technologies. And since it's Mike's pleasure to be here, I would also invite him to go through the patrons.
yeah, I can do that. So A. Thiel, Adam Havelker, Conspy, Heather Ellsworth, Hyman Stoffels, Jose Angel Ezcura, I don't know, JT, Caleb Clark, Kenneth Jew, Luigi311, Michael Kellner, Mr. T 10,001, Omegus, Rondarius, Spendierhose, that's German, so lucky we speak German here.
Yeah,
So like donation pants or something.
yeah,
Yeah, generous pants. Maybe that would be a good translation.
yeah.
Xela Alex, 1234. Yeah, so that
And
was the
also
list of
the random,
patrons.
we also have the random fives, which we pick randomly out of the lesser. It sounds mean to say lesser, but it sounds bad like that. But it's for the patrons who don't donate regularly in a higher amount, and those are COCT, Charles Opondo, Philip Leibelt, Sophisticated, and Artem Arnufrid. Okay. I'm pretty sure I butchered the last one, or a bunch of them, even though I had five only at my disposal. But if you want to help us continue, you can head over to ureports.com/donate, where you can financially support us. And also, if you feel inclined to get some merch, head over to ureports.com/shop. You can get some socks, you can get your mugs, you can get a lot of things from our merchandise shop, and yeah, spread the good word of Ubuntu Touch. All right. So we have a few questions coming in from the forums. I'll start with reading one from Equareo. On Noble, I'm not getting any Cine notifications, but the same app works flawless on Focal. What's up with that?
Yeah, so that's a good question because I see the same behavior on teleports.
Yeah.
I don't have any notifications in messages indicator anymore. So yeah, probably something we have to look at on the rootfs side, I guess.
Yeah. I noticed the same thing. For me, teleports works, but only after resetting everything and wiping the thing. So I don't
Ah,
know.
ah.
It might be
So
something that requires a reset of some part of the configuration or cache or
oh,
whatever.
yeah, okay.
So
Yeah, that would be interesting. Okay.
yeah,
So it works if you have a freshly installed device, but it doesn't work if you're upgraded.
yeah, but it doesn't work
Okay.
on City though.
Ah, okay, okay. So
Only
different
Philips.
with Cine. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I think it's programmatic. So I get text message notifications, SMS, and
Yeah,
yeah, but not teleports. And I'm not using. Oh, actually, I also use Delta Chat, and they actually said that Delta Chat will so the latest release also has notifications and so push notifications with the push server that we run at ubbots.com, and that doesn't work for me either. So I'm not sure if that's helpful, but yeah.
Hmm. Something weird is going on, but
Yeah,
I'm sure we're going to find out.
but my system is upgraded, so
Right.
it has been on focal until a few weeks, and then it's now on 24. So
Right. Oh well, we will see.
yeah, so we have another question from Domup Domup PKM. I don't know how to pronounce that really. I just want to know approximately when Qt Web Engine and Morph browser based on Qt6 will be implemented in dev in the system. This also with the aim of testing Weber, Web App Builder. Thanks again for the work on the new Morph browser. Yeah, so pretty soon, but the exact date I can't really say. But so we have only a few graphical glitches left in Morph browser to get resolved, but it is so for 2.x I would maybe even roll it out if there was not the problem with the space on the phones, with the disk space, or well, not disk really, yeah, storage space. So yeah, so I think, Alfred, we really need to stick our heads together in one of the next core dev meetings and discuss how to actually approach that. So the idea here is to employ some LVM, logical volume manager technology, and eat our way into the user partition where the home directory is by putting up an image file there and then combining the place where the rootfs is stored with that image, so we can actually enlarge the space on the phone for the rootfs system for the image. And because it's just not Qt6 web engine and Morph browser, that well, Morph browser would be removed, the Qt5 version, and then the Qt6 version will be installed. But it's unfortunately all of Qt6 that we really, or most of, or a lot of parts of Qt6 that we have to pull into the rootfs image. So, and
Yeah,
some phones don't have enough space in the file system left to have that really. So this is the last really blocking thing, I think. Or do you see any other blockers, Alfred?
not really. Other than the gesture to open the tab overview of Morph, that's
Ah,
a
that's
little.
yeah, that's still broken as well. You're right. Have you
Yeah,
have you tested that? Have you um so yeah, on so with the so there's this Morph Qt6 unstable package, click package in OpenStore.io that
yeah,
has the issue, but it's not using the latest libraries that Guido and Bushan have been working on. So and the idea is to not have Morph as a click in the future, but to stay with it and have it as a deb package in the root file system.
yeah. Shipping it as a click would require other changes in the rootfs to accommodate for a browser being moved away or stowed away from the rootfs point of view
Ah, okay.
into a click package. Because opening URLs, for example, it would require a URL dispatcher config, etc. So yeah,
Mm,
there are a few things that would be required, and installing it in the rootfs is the most sensible path forward.
yeah. So actually, on the Fairphone 4, I think Guido achieved to enlarge his file system where the rootfs is stored, and then so since well so it takes one more merge. The port to Qt6 merge request for Morph still needs to go in, but then you actually have a Morph dash browser dash Qt6 as a package, and it will remove the Morph browser, which is the Qt5 version, and but for that you need disk space, and so there is just somewhere some text documentation that Guido showed me. I'm not sure if I want to share it here, but we might share it in the UbiPorts development group if he has not so far. So that allows you to enlarge the file system on the Fairphone 4 at least, and he reported that he then has enough space to install the Qt6 library packages and Morph browser dash Qt6.
Okay, I'm running the Fairphone 4 right now, so would be interesting to get that up on par here.
Yeah, I think I, I I have to search for the link, and I posted in the UbiPorts development chat group. So that's the proper target group to try it first, I think.
Right. All right. RJ Dan has a question, or rather, not a question, but rather a suggestion or recommendation to make. I thought it might be fun to have an award event at the end of the year for the developers. It might get more participation if you announce it on the Q&A. What it could look like. A set of categories, nominations for each category, and then we ask the community to vote on the nominees. It would be great to give an actual prize, but I guess we can start out with the gesture of the award itself and see what the community comes up with for awards. Here's the suggested timeline. Categories confirmed by November the 17th. Nominations open from November 17th to December 1st. Voting opens on 5th of December to 12th of December, and awards announced at the subsequent Q&A. For now, it would be great if people could contribute ideas for the categories and other details in the forum, which I'm going to post the link to in the comments. Ideas are welcome. So, yeah, that sounds like an
So,
interesting thing here. I
so what do we
mean,
think about this, Alfred?
I mean, it would be fine and fun for a lot of people who have been working on or contributing to Ubuntu Touch to get recognition, so to say.
Yeah,
And
I think some gamification and like award winning and voting, and so it's a bit like you can actually win a prize, so a bit like that. That's
yeah,
probably really, it could be really inspiring and motivating to people. I guess that.
yeah,
At the same time, I think my end of the year is already so packed, and it is so like that every year. So I wonder if something like a community event as the end date of this, or as the release date, such as the FOSDEM, for example, would
oh
be
yeah,
another. So why do we have to do it at the end of the year when everyone is stressed with Christmas time and whatever anyway? Maybe do it for some other point of time in the year that is also meaningful for open source developers.
yeah,
So that and also RJ then so if you I think the idea is great. So but this is in free software development, and also in Ubuntu Touch, we always have the question, who will do it, and
yes,
I can bring some input from Debian. Nobody will do it unless the one who has the idea does it, or someone has to do it. I guess I can't speak for the UBports Foundation board of directors or members, but I guess this is a great idea, and nobody will be in the way to set this up. But you need a site for the voting and stuff like that. So it's not just it's not a finger snip. It has to be prepared on an organizational level. So yeah, but yeah, if you want to pick that up, why not?
sure.
Yeah.
All right. We have another question from Vlad Nirki.
Yes, that one. The use of snap packages under Ubuntu Touch takes place in a specific context: AppArmor, read-only file system, custom OS implementation, etc. Are there any links where information is available to understand how Snap works in this context? Thank you to everyone who gives their time and skills to advance this essential OS. Yeah, Alfred, I think this is your question to answer, I guess, because
Yes,
I'd call you Mr. Ubuntu Touch Snap or something.
yes. Finger snapper, if you will.
Yeah, finger
Uh,
snapper. Okay, good.
so with Ubuntu Touch and the way that it runs snaps, it's very similar to what Ubuntu Core, I believe, 20 or at least 18 used to look like. It used the same writable file system mechanism, basically the same that we have in Ubuntu Touch with the etc system image writable paths. And it similarly works enough so that you could say it's the same thing. Uh, but there are certain patches that we add to Snapd that aren't documented, that are only available as a pull request at the moment. And it certainly would be cool to have a little bit of documentation, but unless this is finished, I don't see the point in making documentation for this, to be honest. So, yeah.
So can
What I
you enlarge on what are these pull requests? What is the difference that we have in Ubuntu Touch compared to Ubuntu Core?
yes. So what Ubuntu Touch specifically needs is for graphical applications to run OpenGL
Ah,
ES drivers. We need the Android, the Halium container file system mapped into the Snap environment. So what Snap Confine does is it sets up the environment, but it also mounts slash Android into the Snap's application environment so that it's accessible. And with the OpenGL permission or plug, as it's called, interface as it's called in Snap World, you get to have the permission in App Armor for applications to access those files. Uh, in addition to that, what we have with the GPU interface, which is a separate snap, there is a Mesa 2404 snap, but there's also a libhybris 2404 snap. And libhybris 2404 or hybris 2404 ships libhybris as the bare minimum of what is required to load those Android libraries into the process. So we have changes to snapd, and we have a separate snap that compose the whole or comprise the whole uh, graphical application support story on Ubuntu Touch. This is done transparently to the user. The only thing the user has to do is install the Hybrid Snap and connect it to the application that wants to run those graphical things. Which is the cool thing about snaps. You can install multiple versions of Mesa, you can install multiple graphical drivers, and if an application works better with a certain version, you just connect it to that version and it runs with that version of the driver. And similarly, we piggyback on that and make available our libhybris support so that graphical applications can also spawn uh, windows and render them on Ubuntu Touch.
and is this handling and tinkering with the different Mesa versions and that libhybris gets also put in? Is that all implemented in your app Snapster, or is it
No, this,
is it more manual work that's still required to do that?
it still requires manual work, but most of those things can be automated once we do two things. We would have to pre-install or on-demand install the hybrid snap should the user choose to install snaps or use snaps.
Mhm.
And what we also need to do is ask in the Snapcraft forum to have an auto connection to the GPU interface if the hybrid snap is pre-installed on the device, so that it doesn't fall back on the Mesa implementation, but uses the libhybris implementation.
Yeah,
This is all
yeah,
transparently in the store. The store manages this, and it's basically just in the back end. It's a flag or a simple flag to enable those things automatically, so that the client, the actual application installation process on the phone, does the right thing.
yeah. Okay, thank you. So okay, so it's still a little bit ahead, like some more work to do, and also it would need cooperation from Canonical, from the Snapstore team, to actually sort of yeah, realize or honor that Ubuntu Touch is also a potential consumer. So a further plan that we actually will discuss, and Brian, if you listen to that, maybe try to get in touch over the next 2 weeks, I guess, to discuss about OpenStore.io and the possibilities to actually add more stuff, more features into OpenStore.io, such as Snap support.
Yes, Brian and I, we have been talking about this in the back, but there are certain wishes from Brian's part that would be best implemented. for example, searching in the back end without leaking information over to the canonical server,
Hmm.
uh, which is, yeah, I have no opinion on that. Uh, just a wish from Brian's part. And yeah, so just a handful of things that need to be done in order for us to have a rough plan on how to implement this.
Yeah, yeah. So at the same time, we have been also looking at, is it possible to have deb packages also managed, like not all deb packages that we know, but a selection of popular applications like that
Yeah,
that come as a deb package. If OpenStore IO would not just be used on Ubuntu Touch, but also on a general distribution. So not deb package really, but distro package. Um, so this is also something that's sort of on the budget of the project that we are currently planning. Is also the question. Okay, if this is not an Ubuntu Touch system but a Lumiri environment, what would be the best way to install other applications? And if you don't want to use the command line for that, because we want to address a group of users that doesn't have to know how to use a terminal window. Yeah.
right. I want to
Okay.
I want to
Just
pick a little question from the live chat real quick, or rather a little hint from podcast Ubuntu Portugal. By the way, the foundation needs new members. If you have made contributions to UB ports in the last 3 months and want to contribute at least during the 6 months more, consider to apply to membership. Yes, this is needed for our little democracy game that we're playing. To work properly, we need people in the foundation to be members of the board of trustees, so that we can do the elections and do everything properly in order to keep the foundation afloat legally. There will be elections next year, so this is the right time to apply. So yeah, please get in touch with us if you want to join. Please get in touch with us because this is necessary. And if you have contributed, consider it at least to join us because it's fun.
hmm.
Okay, the last question from the forum. Gabriel.de asks, hello, when will Halium 16 be released? So, Halium 16 is pretty much way too far away, or at least I'm not aware of anybody having ported over the Halium patches to Android 16. Uh, and it would require someone to do it. It basically, the way that it mostly works is some business incentive requires a new Halium version, or some personal interest requires a new Halium version, and someone does the job. This has not happened yet, but when it happens, it will be not taking long until it's in a usable state, because
Yeah.
the patches are there. They're mostly unchanged. Some patches might have to be added, some patches might have to be removed, but the general idea of how Halium works is pretty much the same across all the versions of Android since Halium 9.
So do we know any devices that we have ports for that or no, maybe not, because if they need Helium 16, they should be pretty new. Have you heard of
Yes.
any
No,
devices?
the newest Halium that we ship is Halium 14.
Yeah.
Still, Halium 14 is also pretty recent, if you ask me. And it works to the point where people are doing serious stuff with this. So, yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Do you see anything in the live chat that piques your interest?
I'm a newbie. Where's the live chat?
Comments.
Ah, ah. So will you guys be at Frostum 26? Personally, I will be. Alfred, will you be?
Personally, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. And I know a
Maybe.
few others who will be there, and but there will be no booth, and um, So we actually tried to sign up or register a dev room, the Convergent Desktop, it was called, and it was rejected. So, and then I thought, shall I sign up for a talk? Do I have to tell stuff? Maybe not. I will have to tell some stuff next year, so not in 27, when the just launching project will be able to present some results. So, and I decided to do FOSDEM again, like the previous years, sit at the coffee table and tell people I'm here, and then yeah, so I meet with many people from the Debian community there, and so whoever I've met in the past, at least a little handshake and some coffee or tea will be possible, and yeah, this is actually quite nice, much nicer than sitting in a stuffed dev room or a stuffed talk room. For my Is my personal opinion. Let me just check.
Awesome always is an experience.
Okay. Actually, I didn't see these posts here. That's good. So the long list. Weston Howard has been putting in a lot of work of updating focal apps to Noble, hence the big list. So thanks for that. Great
Yes,
work. Yeah, very good.
definitely.
Very good. Very good.
Okay,
Mm,
and I think we can round up this fine episode with a little fire emoji here. Uh, and nothing piques my interest anymore in the list of chat comments, so let's leave it at that. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us tonight or today, wherever you are. Also, if you're listening in, hope you enjoyed the audio recording. And thanks, Mike, for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure.
I would like to give a little teaser for something that will also happen in the coming year. Alfred and I will probably, maybe a few others, stick our heads together around XDG desktop portal support for the Miri.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
very important
so not
for
not not in 2 weeks' time to report about it, but
no,
we'll definitely, this is something that will happen in 2026. I'm very sure about that.
yes. All right. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight, and see each other the next time around, which should be in 2 weeks. So, goodbye,
Yeah, thanks for
sees.
having me.